I'd like to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Let me be clear. I'm not trying to make crime look normal. What I want is to bring back the humanity in them because every addict is still a person and every person deserves a chance. By giving them social service and skill training, we're not only helping them to recover, but also giving them a reason to stand tall again, and that's exactly why I'm really proud to stand on proposition side. Let me respond and review it for the opponent side. First, they would say imprisonment is a way to minimize crime and has an immediate effect. But here's why it wouldn't be as good as what they say. A. Minimization has to hit the root of the problem. Putting addicts in prison, it looks like it fixes the issues, but it doesn't solve what really causes it. Addiction is not just about crime, it's about trauma, health, and economic struggle. B. Yes, prison sometimes provide rehab, but let's be real. Inside prison, the environment is really toxic. There's heavy pressure and people lose hope. That's not the place to heal, and when they finally get out, they still carry the label of being an ex-prison, which make it almost impossible to find a job or start fresh. Moreover, in a status quo, prison time is short. It only delays the problem and leaves them with a lasting social label. Secondly then, they would say prison has a deterrent effect on other addicts. But let's look at the reality. Addicts are not in the same mindset as healthy people. Their situation is more like someone with a mental illness. Their main fear is not going to prison. Their real fear is having nothing. They're afraid of not having money and not being able to survive. So when someone is trapped in addiction, the fear of punishment doesn't work anymore. Their brain is already overwhelmed by survival and the pain of addiction. That's why prison cannot create a real deterrent effect, because fear of jail is nothing compared to fear of losing everything and suffering inside their own body. Thirdly then, they would say, without prison, how can you ensure security? Here's the thing, my side isn't about letting them run free. I push for strict rehabilitation programs. The focus is on awareness, healing trauma, and teaching skills. The opposing side actually make things even worse. They can promise security either, because ex-prisoners come back to society with the same problem that has level of ex-prison and even more stigma. That cycle, it repeats. Why this side is better? First, in prison, their mental health get worse. In rehabilitation, they get psychological treatment that actually helps. Secondly then, skill training, giving them a chance to rebuild their lives. Think about it. Would you hire an ex-prisoner or someone who finished rehab and has a new skills? Clearly, rehab gives them a real shot at jobs and dignity. Why this policy needs to be implemented? Because it shows the government that they still cares about the victim. Let's not forget, addiction is also tied to the government's failure to provide good economic opportunities. By choosing rehab and training, the government is not only helping addicts, but also preventing new cases by addressing the roots of poverty and despair. How this policy will be implemented? First, work with psychologists, researchers, and the government to build programs that focus on healing, not punishing like what opponents always do. 2. Provide regular rehab that helps them recover from trauma and addiction. And third, after mental recovery, give them skill training so they can work, earn, and live a stable life. This breaks the cycle and solves the core problem, that is economic struggle. In my words, what does it look like if this policy is applied? Instead of carrying the label of ex-prisoner, what they carry is skill, job, opportunities, and the dignity to stand tall again. In our words, family don't have to be ashamed because their loved one come back as a better person. Panel, at the end of the day, this debate is about whether we should punish people who are already trapped in addiction It is about whether we give them a chance to stand up as a human beings or whether we leave them stuck like what opposition think. I, as a proposition, believe that true safety and progress come when ethics are treated, not discarded, when they are given training, they can work, when they are rehabilitated, they can contribute. They are humanized, they no longer return to crime. And this is why SMADA deserves to win and proud to propose.